everyone, and welcome to Ascend Into Your Power, a podcast all about things metaphysical, alien, dimensional, channeling, mediumship, really anything that you can think of that goes outside of the matrix, that breaks the status quo, breaks the box that society tries to put us in to keep us in. This podcast is for you, and I'm your host, Chelsea, the Starseed Medium. I'm an ascension guide, a remote viewer, extra-dimensional channeler, and medium. And each week, we will be diving into a subject that really breaks us apart from the matrix. So if you're ready to step out of the 3D and teleport into another dimension, welcome to Ascend Into Your Power. Hello, Starseeds, and welcome back to another episode of Ascend Into Your Power. Today is an awesome episode because I have my friend Ophir here with me, and we are going to talk about her story and a little bit about her spiritual journey, ayahuasca, and how that was for her, and false twins and twin flame course that she has with Brittany, who we talked to last week. So I'm so excited because I feel like me and Ophir have a lot in common since meeting her and the Starseed group that we're both in. I'm not going to try to say it because I always get it messed up. The name's messed up.
Starseed Support
Center.
Yes.
I always say Starseed Sanctuary. But I'm so excited to have you today, Ophir.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I can't wait to go and share our stories because I feel like we have a lot in common and we didn't really get to go into it. And it's my first podcast, so really exciting.
We are totally getting, when I've realized that there was all these beautiful women and also men in this group, I was like, why would I look to anybody else to talk about stories with? Like, I have everyone here and everyone's so different, but still similar. And it just is crazy to show how soul family, when you do find them, how connected and vibrationally matched you are, that you can just talk for hours and be like, where have you been all my life?
Yeah, and it literally feels like family. Like, you don't have to know people for years. It just, the souls recognize each other and it's instant feeling at home and feeling like you can be yourself. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you feel seen and heard, and it's so nice for the first time.
Yeah. And there are no rules. You don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to your background, where you come from. No one cares about that. We didn't even ask each other's age or, profession or whatever.
Yeah.
It's beyond all of that, all of these humans labels, right?
Yeah, it's just I feel like I just word vomited my whole life. Here's everything about me. I haven't seen you in so long. Blah.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to catch up.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
I'm sorry. Yes. So tell. I know a little bit about you, but tell my listeners and our listeners about you and kind of your spiritual journey and,
Okay.
Essentially what brought you to here.
What brought me to here? That was a wild ride for sure. I grew up in Switzerland. I lived there most of my life, and my mom is from Israel, so I lived in an Israeli household, and I always felt different as a kid, which I think most starseeds do. I was very shy. I was very emotional, which I thought was a weakness at the time. And in Switzerland, I had this, like, it's a very like comfortable, quiet, nothing really happens. And I remember being a teenager and thinking to myself, like, is that all there is to life? Like, there's no way, like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna go to school, get a job, get a husband, get a house. Like, that doesn't excite me, like there's something else. I felt like I always had this feeling that I came here for something bigger, but I couldn't pinpoint what it is. And I always felt, and that was a very uncomfortable feeling, that like almost as if like my life hasn't started yet. Like I'm waiting for my life to actually start. And since the age of 15, I had a vision of Los Angeles, of LA. Never been to the US before, didn't know anything about it, but I saw that something is waiting for me in LA. And a few years later, I moved to Israel and I served in the army. And I think that was really the beginning of my awakening without me knowing at the time, because that put me in this place of like, wow, like understand the power of the mind and see myself do things I didn't know I was capable of. And I became really obsessed with like success and waking up early and like having like a checklist, a to-do list, and being like over disciplined, over controlling, and like reading all these books about successful people and what they do. And this is what got me into meditation first. And this is what got me into then later on like manifestation and affirmations, because first it would be like, listen to like successful quotes, like motivational quotes.
Yeah.
And then that turned into affirmations, or having like this like crazy routine workout, and that suddenly that turned into meditation and yoga. And so, but I think that's how it started. And then I applied for an acting school for LA. That was my dream. I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be the best actress in Hollywood, and I wanted to live in LA. And so after the army, I applied and I got my student visa and everything was set up, and I moved to LA. In January, it's going to be 4 years. That was 4 years ago. Little did I know what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
And I got into an acting school. That was the first time I really enjoyed school. I was always very creative and always loved art and theater. But I didn't like school, like regular school of just sitting down and listening to a teacher. And, I was really having a really hard time with that my whole life. But when I was doing theater and acting, I would feel myself just blossom and be able to express my emotions and be able to open up, open my throat and shine like I couldn't in my everyday life. So studying acting was really, really amazing for me. And I learned so much about myself. You use past events that happened in your life to go back to the same emotions. And I was like clearing trauma without realizing that that's what I was doing there, really. And then after the first year, COVID happened and we started going on Zoom. So I was like, damn, I moved all the way to LA to be in an acting school, and now I'm doing it from home. Okay. That wasn't planned. And I just started spending a lot of time at home, and I started getting more into, meditation first and yoga here and there. And there were a few girls in my acting class that were spiritual. And one of them was like reading cards, and she was talking about spirit guides. I started having conversations with her, and she did a reading for me one day, and she had all these oracle decks. She was like, pick one. Which one do you want me to use for you? And I was like, this one. And it was the starseed deck. And I didn't even know what starseeds are. you know, I was just so drawn to it. And she started talking to me about star seeds and spirit guides. And she did a reading when she was like, your grandpa is one of your spirit guides. And the card she pulled was, you are never alone. And I was like, oh my God, this shit is real. Like, what is happening? And I remember after that, we looked through her window and there was a billboard outside and it was saying, you are never alone, just like on the card. And like that, like expanded my consciousness of like, oh, there's more to life than what I thought, right? And I started getting drawn to all these books about consciousness, about afterlife, reincarnation, manifestation, spirit guides, like one book after the other. And like my consciousness was like expand and expand and expand. And I even remember, like it's like you feel like it's new information, but deep down it resonates. It's like, yes.
Yeah, I remember.
And I remember, and I even would like stop reading at some point and just like start crying and crying. And it was just this like deep remembrance of things of like, these are the answers I was looking for my entire life. This is the thing that I felt was waiting for me here, you know? And that started to unpack. And then what really triggered my awakening was meeting my false twin flame, which is a journey in and of itself. But then that brought me into ego death and the dark night of the soul and going really, really deep into that. And the more I was getting into my spiritual journey, the less I was having fun in acting class, which was interesting.
Because it's like you're not wanting to wear the mask anymore. You just want to like show yourself. I feel like you have to do that with like acting a lot, right?
100%. And I realized that what drawn me to acting in the first place was this wounded part of me that wanted to be seen and wanted to be heard and look at me. I'm on stage, like, you know, but what?
My cats.
Oh,
freaking out. Sorry. I don't know what they're doing. They're like knocking everything over. I'm so sorry. Continue.
Part of the conversation.
I'm like, are you okay? That's so violent.
Well, you have 4 cats, so
yeah. I'm sorry. Mask and acting.
So yeah, I realized that I was drawn to acting because I needed healing with my throat and open up and express my emotions and feel seen and feel heard. And the more I was doing the inner work and the shadow work, the less I needed acting for that, you know? And it got to the point where I was like, oh, I'm supposed to. Oh my God.
We've been having so many things happen to us just to even get on this podcast today. I am just thankful to be here right now. Weird stuff has been happening the past 2 nights. We can talk about that later.
Yes, we can talk about that later. It's wild.
Mask. Sharing your voice. I'm trying to keep it on.
It really got to the point where I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to continue acting. And that was like a few months before I was supposed to graduate. And it was very scary for me and it didn't make sense. I was like, I sacrificed everything, moved to the other side of the world, told everyone I was going to be the best actress in Hollywood, like obsessed about it. Like, and now I don't want to do that anymore. What the heck is wrong with me? Like, so what now? You know, like I'm in LA for acting. Am I even supposed to stay here? Like, it was so confusing, but like the call was so strong. I tried to push it away for a while until like going to class would just make me sick. And I was like, okay, like I need to quit. And I would like see all these signs everywhere, you know, when you start awaken and you have like angel numbers like everywhere. And you're like, what is going on? And the spirit of the butterfly was with me since the beginning. And yeah, so I quit acting. I was so scared. it felt like really like jumping and not even knowing if there's water, if there's hot water, if there's sharks, like jumping. I don't know. I'm being asked to jump. And I quit, and it was scary, but as soon as I did it, I felt a relief.
Relief.
You know? Like it's a hard choice. It's a hard decision to make, but it's the right one. Like your soul knows. You don't know consciously, but it knows.
I've noticed this like pattern where like if something's not in alignment with you, like your body will tell you, and immediately as soon as you like let go of it, you're like, oh, it feels so much better.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're like, why was I so scared to do it? You know, it's like, of course that's the right thing, but it stretches you, you know. Because I feel like I lost a part of my identity in that. It's like, okay, I don't want to be an actress anymore. What am I? Who am I? What am I supposed to do right now? You know?
Should I go see?
Yeah, so I quit, and then I was in this few months of just like what I call the void of nothingness, which is kind of what the caterpillar goes through, right? And turns into goo. It's like, oh my God, I'm dying. A few months of like, I thought, okay, maybe I wasn't drawn to the studies anymore. Maybe I should still pursue acting. And I tried here and there, auditioning and this and that. And really quickly, I realized, no, I have no spark for it anymore, zero excitement. So I just had to like make peace with surrendering and not knowing what's next, not knowing how long I'm going to have to be in this in between. And it gave me the time and space to do more inner work and dive deeper, you know?
Yeah. I use like, that stage, the caterpillar stage for you is what I call the hermit stage for me, where I just like literally don't want to be around anyone, don't want to do anything. You like, it's almost like being in like a kind of like dark night of the soul, because you're just like questioning everything like about yourself, and you're like forcing yourself to go deep into like your subconscious to like figure out like, why didn't this work? Why don't I like this anymore? Who even the hell am I now? Like, and it like really like you spend a lot of time.
But you go through a certain death of who you thought you are.
Yeah, it's like a grieving process.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like that version of myself is kind of dead now. Like, and this is like a new version of me. So like it kind of trips you out there too, because you're like, why would I ever have done that? You know, like what, who thought that was okay? And it kind of is like, no, you didn't date me. You dated that version.
Yeah. Like your perspective on everything changes drastically. But everything is being done so perfectly, you know. It's like the universe, your higher self, you know, whatever you want to call it, making space for you to be in this space, in this hermit mode alone. You have to go through it alone. And this is why at that time you haven't met your soul family yet, because you have to go through that by yourself first, right? And it's very lonely, because you feel like everyone around you wouldn't understand what you're going through. So you don't even share about that. You spend all of your time alone, like doing weird stuff. You know?
Like, what is this?
Expanding your consciousness, clearing so much trauma that you didn't even know you have. Yes, I was there for a couple of months, and it was definitely very uncomfortable, but that's exactly what I needed. And
is that what led you then to do ayahuasca?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In that time. And that's so interesting, because I've never tried any psychedelics, anything. When I was younger, I had a very bad experience with weed, like very bad trip, like traumatized for months, couldn't sleep, couldn't even smell weed after that. And after that, I was like, I'm never going to try anything ever again. Like, this is not for me. But suddenly I started being interested in ayahuasca. Like, she was calling me in. She was like, it's time. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do ayahuasca. What is wrong with me? What? like, I don't do this kind of thing. And that's another like identity I had to break, right?
Yeah.
Of like, this is not for me. It's like, maybe it is. Maybe you have to give it a chance. And so, yeah, very quickly I found a place and I had my first ceremony, and the message was, ask ayahuasca to heal your throat. Because the whole thing with acting and my throat chakra is, since I was very young, I would get sick. I would get throat infections like 4 or 5 times a year, no matter what season, no matter what I was eating, doing. I tried different diets, different medicines, anything was helping. 4 or 5 times a year, getting sick with my throat and not eating for a week, being super weak, like missing class all the time. And once I got into acting and it started opening up, I realized, oh, I think it's something deeper. It's not just a physical issue, right? It's something deeper. And acting classes definitely helped start the process of opening the throat. But I needed the help of ayahuasca to really get that healing, and that transformed me, because I had a huge release and purge and healing, where I realized it wasn't even my pain, it was ancestral. I really felt all of the women of my lineage, all of the time they were suffocated, they were shut down, they were got their throat cut, everything that they've been through. I was holding this pain in me, and it was time for me to let that go. And once I had this release, I started singing for the first time in my life, started singing in ceremony. And ayahuasca told me, you're going to help people with your voice. You're going to heal people with your voice. I had no idea what that meant. I was like, okay. Because after the ceremony, I tried singing and it wasn't the same. Like, I couldn't get to this high pitch like I did in ceremony. But I realized, oh, I think I'm supposed to help people. I think I'm a healer. I think my work has to do with ascension, with what I'm going through right now. Like, this is my training to help other people that are going to go through it, right? Like, then you realize that your whole life is like this training for you have to go through it in order to help someone else that goes through that, right? You have to be sick in order to be able to understand what it means and help other people heal. And you have to go through your dark night of the soul, and without realizing that it's for a bigger mission. But that's what it did for me. I realized, oh, I think I have a big mission here, and I think I'm supposed to help people on their own journey. And so from acting, it turned into healing, and suddenly I started getting attracted to Reiki. And once I started doing Reiki, my psychic abilities like opened up, my intuitive abilities. It just opens your channel, and then more and more starts flowing through you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I like with my personal, like I got the same download as you after ayahuasca, like ascension guide, like you have to, like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. I had different intentions, but I think it's so beautiful that these intentions just come to you randomly right before you're supposed to do it. It's like, heal through your love life. Okay, cool. Got it. Don't know why, but got it. So, and then the second night, it was like past life. You need to explore the past life and heal through the past life. I'm like, okay, cool. Got it. And that's when the aliens came into me. Well, the extra dimensionals came into me for the first time. And that's when the light language activated for me. Like the first night was kundalini. The second one was the light language.
Wow.
The little mantises.
That's what came in. Wow.
But with Reiki, I realized like that's what started my journey, because once I found Reiki, I started to get into it. I started the psychic abilities. So when I was like, I'm going to do an ascension course, I was like, I'm putting Reiki in my ascension course, because that's what gets you to heal yourself. It's what starts it, instead of the masculine way of healing yourself, which is shown everywhere, like you were talking about before, which is how I started to get into personal development, essentially, which is reading how to be a successful business person, how to do this. Like I was doing the same things, thinking that was making me a better person, but really it was just making me better at business. But I guess that's something we had to learn in order to be able to run a successful spiritual, like entrepreneurship, essentially.
Yes. Then you realize everything you learn, every experience you had in your life is later on helping you. But when you learned it, you didn't know that you are going to use it for something completely different later on.
Different, yeah.
But it's still a tool you have with you that you can just be like, oh, I know how to do that. I know how to run that, right? I know how to create that. I learned that 6 years ago, randomly, like in a course or something.
Yeah. Same with me, like wanting to be like a physician's assistant. Now I know where things are in the body, which helps me with Reiki, which is like your gallbladder. It's like so weird how they just like put things together.
Yeah, you look backwards and you can like put all the dots together.
Yeah.
Like nothing was random. Nothing. The places I was drawn to, the people I met, the mistakes, right? Quote unquote mistakes I did, which were actually the best thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, it's so funny. Okay, so with the ayahuasca, like I know my experience was really crazy, but you had a kundalini awakening in ayahuasca as well, right? Was it?
Mine was with Reiki. So the first time I received Reiki was from a friend who just got attuned, and she gave me a session, and the message I received was my kundalini is awakening. I could feel it at the base of my spine, and it was your kundalini is awakening. And then I don't know if you did that too, but after I got attuned level 1, I had to do 21 days of self-healing for 1 hour every day. Yeah. And I would feel a lot of energy moving through my spine, but it wasn't like a kundalini awakening until the 21st day, the last day. Yeah, the last day, the last position, which is like putting your hands at the base of your spine. And then I had a full-on kundalini awakening. Yeah, which was very...
Yeah, it's like you awakened it yourself.
Wow. It was like 40 minutes, I think, or something of like just pure bliss. Like, it's like, I don't know what's going on in my body right now. I can't control it, but I love it. I'm just going to let it go.
Let it ride.
Yeah. Wow. So powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. It's super intense, like wild. I've had like multiple experiences with this like kundalini activation process since, and that just blows my mind every time, like the experience you have like with the kundalini running through you. And I think that's helped me to become like a more effective channel now. And I think that's also why I get like so dancey like you do too. Like we're both like moving and like dancing a lot of the times. So I love it.
So that's an interesting story too, because the first time I started dancing, moving like that with music was at my first ayahuasca ceremony, actually. I felt like someone was playing guitar, and I felt like I was in the guitar. Like I could feel like everything happening, or like I was even like becoming the guitar, and I would feel it in my body and I would start moving with it. And then I was drawn to light language, but I never spoke it. But I was drawn to it. So after I did Reiki, I got drawn to sound healing, and I got drawn to light language more. And this is when I found the light language Zoom calls. And even before getting on the calls, I just watched a replay of all of you guys doing like light language. And I was fascinated. I was like, wow, these people are amazing. I don't know, like, I don't understand what is happening, but it's amazing. Like I felt it. I was like crying. I had release just by watching the replay. And then I met you, and I met Brittany and the whole group. And the first time I came on, Brittany asked me a question about light language. And I was like, oh, I don't speak it. I came here just to watch. Like, I'm just curious. And she was like, no, then why do I see that you are activated? Like, what do you mean you don't speak light language? You are activated. And then just by having a short conversation, I realized, oh, light language doesn't have to be spoken. It's light codes, and it can move through you in different ways. And it can move through you with hands movement, can move through you by dancing, which is not dancing. It's just like intuitively moving and doing codes, right? And suddenly everything started to click. I was like, I got activated for that in ayahuasca, because my ceremony, going back home, I would put music on, and this like all these sacred songs that are being played in ceremony, and I would just start moving and dancing, and I would like release a lot by doing that. I thought I was just moving energy or whatever, but then I realized, oh, this is light language, this is light codes. And then the first time I came on a Wednesday for the light language, I just had my codes come online by hearing other people speak light language, or so yeah, it's interesting. It gets activated either by hearing light language or frequencies or certain music, certain songs. Yeah.
And, like divine timing, like whenever you're supposed to like speak it, it's going to speak out of you, like it's going to come out of you. Whenever you're supposed to move your hands, like you have no, like I like to think like you have control of the hands, but the energy is just so strong that your hands just move for you, that you are like, what is this? Like, sometimes I feel like it's like sometimes like sign language in a way, like, and like, when I activated my light language, like just watching a YouTube at my home, like after ayahuasca, like it came out like months later.
Wow.
I don't know if I was actually clicking and mantis in ayahuasca, because nobody could really, I don't know if they knew what was happening. No. Or they could hear me, because it's like very quiet when I do have like the mantis activations come in. But when I listened to this activation by Light Resonance on YouTube, it's like 2 minutes. I like felt it in my throat, and I was like, huh, cool, whatever. At least I tried. And I walk over to get some water, and I would like go to tell my cat Wilson to get off the table, and it was just like,
wow,
like coming out of me, and I couldn't stop. Like it was like 10 minutes straight, and then the energy flew into my hand, and I was like writing like intensely, like back and forth, like for like another 3 minutes, my hands just like writing like these codes everywhere. And I was like, what the hell is this scribbly stuff?
What did you do?
It's so confusing. So it's like sometimes, and then I just thought I was the weirdest freaking person. I'm like, I don't know anyone. don't know anyone that's doing this. And like, why does mine sound like clicky? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, why does mine sound beautiful? Like all these other people, I got a freaking weird clicky one.
You don't get to choose. Like whatever needs to come through comes through. And I feel like it's really hard for the ego because it's like, what are you doing? This is crazy. This makes no sense, you know?
Yeah.
And this is why I think gathering more people together that do these kind of things and like have like validation from other people that are like, oh my God, I felt that. Like you helped me release, you helped me unblock, you helped me through your codes. And it's like, this is real. And I mean, we've done a few calls together. Like this is powerful and this is real. And this is channeling, and we channel like beings and animals and, you know, and people from different time in history. And like, it like transcends everything we know of. It's quantum healing, like time and space don't exist anymore. And it's amazing. It's amazing. And once you do it, it's like, oh, it suddenly feels like the most natural thing for you to do. Like, oh, I've done that my whole life.
Yeah. And you're just like so happy, like so joyful. Or like when you're moving through like sadness from like past lives, you're like bawling, crying, doing it. It's just like you feel everything to like the utmost like level.
Yeah.
And it's not for the faint of heart, like at all. Like I feel like that takes like why a lot of our starseeds or a lot of us that are in this line have had such intense lives to get here.
Sense. If you have a big mission, you know, you have to go through your training first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wild.
Especially when it happens in a group setting and everyone is so unique and we all do light language, but it looks different for each person. So unique. And then we combine it together and it creates this beautiful, like everything is so like in sync with each other, you know, like there's this like synchronicity of you do something that triggers me to do something and that awakens this and that. And it's like a dance we are all like going through, right?
And a song, yeah. Like when we had like this one day where we were just all like singing. Even yesterday we were all singing in like harmony with each other, like these like songs. And it's so beautiful when we do harmonize and we're all singing like different things, but they go so beautifully together. Like,
and it's not something planned, like a performance you would like plan for and rehearse for. We come and we set intentions for the day, and then whatever needs to happen happens.
Yeah.
It's like total unknown, total trusting. And wow, it's been wild since then, because we started doing light language together, and then very quickly Brittany and I realized, oh, we're supposed to host something of some sort together. I started to host group Reiki for some friends, or started partnering with people and do like sound healing and Reiki and here and there, you know, starting to share my medicine. But with Brittany, we felt like, oh, we're supposed to host like a ceremony or an event together. And so we met to talk about that. And we ended up talking a lot about twin flames. She didn't know much about it. And I started telling her more about my story. And it was wild. And the week after, the subject came up again with the group. And we realized a lot of people in the group are on the twin flame journey. And a lot of people feel the same right now. They feel that they've been on the journey for a long time alone. And it feels like it's time for us to come together and like sprint this finish line together.
Yeah.
And break out of the chrysalis together and spread our wings. And so we were texting in the group chat, right? Everyone was like, yeah, I'm also on the twin flame journey. Me too, me too. And very quickly I got the guidance that we are supposed to do an activation of some sort, or just dedicate one of the Zoom calls to only talk about twin flames.
Yeah.
And so like 2 days later, I text Brittany and I'm like, so do you want this to be part of the Monday calls, or should it be something separate? What do you want? And she was like, yeah, like just like create a PowerPoint, like let's have like something for Monday to just talk about twin flames. And then I was like, okay, cool, like super excited to make that happen. And then I was driving around in the city, and when I drive, I get a lot of downloads and guidance coming through. And I get a full guidance of like, this is going to be a masterclass that's going to lead to a course. It's going to have to be 3 months. It's going to have to do healing, coaching, activations. And I was like, I don't do coaching. What does it mean? And then it's like, Brittany, coaching. Oh. And I would have like these light bulbs of all the thing coming together. Oh, we are not supposed to do an in-person event. We're supposed to create a course together for twin flames, and she's going to coach, and I'm going to give like twin flame transmissions, and apparently I'm a twin flame activator and I have no idea what that means. And like I call her and I'm like, oh my God, I need to tell you something. And she's like, yes, like everything resonated, and she started getting downloads too, and we just brought everything together, and in 3 days we created everything, the PowerPoint, the course, everything. It was like, and I couldn't go to sleep until I was like putting this out and like putting it in. Like I couldn't sleep. It had to be created. And that's where we're at now. We created the course, and we already have 4 people, which one of them is you, which I'm so excited for.
I'm like, after what we talked about earlier, I'm like,
yeah, it's divinely guided.
We're not gonna bring that.
Yeah. If you know, you know. But I mean, since last week, since the moment you said yes, right? And since we actually have like a group now, like we already feel that there's something big happening. Like this course is just a portal for our new lives. And like we are like letting go of so much right now. And we are stepping into like our missions, and it feels very scary, and it feels like I've never done this before, but it's like, but you know how to do it. Like, yeah. And it's time now. And yeah, I'm just so excited that we are all in this together. And we are so guided, you know, it's we are not even planning. Like we're gonna know in the moment, okay, this needs to happen, like this and like that. And we are in for a wild journey.
Wild ride. I already feel like I haven't even had like the first like course day.
Yeah.
And I've already been through a whirlwind of emotions.
And all of us, everyone that is in this course.
After I said yes, it was like,
right after yes. It's like, yeah, you jumped a timeline of miracles and blessings and just like things I think we don't even think are possible happen in that timeline, you know?
Yeah.
And I've also had like crazy thing happen to me for the last few days. And it just feels like so much bigger than us. Like the way it was created, the way it was guided, and the way it was made in 3 days. And the people that were supposed to be part of that container just were there and heard about it and already knew us, you know? Like, kind of crazy. So yeah, I can't wait to see how it's going to unfold. Yeah.
Can you tell everyone a little bit more about like twin flames? Because I know there's like a lot of misconceptions about that too. Because I like started using the word divine counterpart because like I felt like twin flames were always so toxic. Like it comes up as like a toxic like situation that never really is supposed to like be together unless like you work on it and like both people heal. So I wanted to know like, well, I know about it, but
Yeah.
you want to talk to everybody.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misinformation about it. And I think it just became a word that is being used too much. And it's like twin flames that come into union are actually very rare. And not a lot of people in this lifetime are on a twin flame journey. But people started using this word for things that are not twin flame. And then there's this whole misunderstanding of what is actually twin flames. And I understand now that I am on this path not only for my own twin flame journey and union, but to help other people on the twin flame journey. And that's what it is, like a twin flame activator. And so I feel like it is my duty to spread the right information. And this is why I received all the information also through ceremonies, meditations, just like ayahuasca really took me through the whole journey of twin flames, like from the moment, like as souls and the split of souls and the moment we decide to split and like I just like went through everything and I realized how complex this journey is and how misunderstood it is. I recommend everyone that is interested in this topic to go and watch the replay of the masterclass because we covered so much.
Yeah.
And it's really something complex. So there's the link in my bio for the masterclass. But to put it simply, it's the most important thing to remember is that twin flames are one soul. It's the same soul divided in two people, two bodies, and one would carry more masculine and one would carry more feminine. And it's this journey of going through the illusion of separation to ultimately find each other again. But it's a journey back to yourself. When you're obsessed about your twin, it's really it's your soul. You are longing to go back home to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Which is it's very intense. It's a very intense journey because when you encounter either your twin flame or the false one, which the false one just helps you get on that journey and awakens you spiritually, it's a mirror back to yourself. It's a mirror where you see every single part of yourself. So all the parts of you that you haven't healed, that you haven't acknowledged, that you haven't forgiven, that you haven't loved are going to be shown to you, and it's going to bring all your shadow to the surface, all the triggers. And this is why twin flames go on this journey separately to work on themselves separately, to become whole within themselves and then be able to find their other half. Yeah, it's a fascinating topic, really. And that's what the container is. It's about a journey back to self. It's not a journey of like, let's go together and look for twin flames, right? It's like all you have to do is the inner work, the inner journey. And once you're whole, twin flames are like magnets. When it's time, when you reach that level of self-acceptance and self-love, the twin flame comes to you. There's nothing in the physical that you have to do. Everything is being taken care of. You know, it's an inner journey, and the physical union is just the result of the inner union. So yeah, it's so divine and it's so sacred. This journey is so sacred. And that's why I think it's important that if people use that word, they know what they are talking about, you know?
Yeah.
Most relationships are soulmates. It's not, twin flames is a whole other thing. But yeah, go watch the masterclass. A lot of it.
It's really good.
And it's activating in and of itself because it brings you a lot of remembrance, right?
Yeah, because when I was watching it, or when we were in it, my face was like swelling up, like I was getting really hot. And I've been hot since. Like, I'm usually a very, very cold person.
Wow.
But since then, I've been like really warm, really hot. Like, I've had, like, that day, I just felt like I wanted to throw up all day. I just wanted to throw up. I was like crying. And like third eye and heart was like boom, boom, like
me too.
Oh, overactive, like overactive. And like overactive to the point where it comes up like it's blocked. Like, I'm like, you're not blocked. Like, I feel like I'm seeing like I was seeing things like the next day, like I had a film of water over me.
Wow.
I don't think I told you that.
No.
Like, it was like I had water in front of me, like just like this film over me of water. Like, I don't know how to describe that. And then like lights were flashing everywhere. Like, I was seeing, like, I saw the butterfly fly by yesterday. Yeah. And when we were in the light language sanctuary, and it was just like, it's been weird dreams since can't sleep, hot, cold, just like, it's like you're like going through a whole other elevation, and like intense sadness, intense happiness, intense like anger, because you're like, why aren't you here yet? It's just like so many different emotions.
I'm going through the exact same thing, and I think we shouldn't try to even understand it on a logical level. You know, everything is gonna make sense very soon.
I know,
but like it's I'm so happy that you are in this, because it feels like it's made for you. You know, it's like the reason why we had to create this course is because there are 6 people out there that need that right now. This exact and you're one of them, and you making the jump and taking faith, you know, because like part of us wants to be reunited with the twin flame and go through that union, but also it's so big, it's so much, it brings up so much that it's freaky a little bit. It brings up a lot. Yeah, it's a very intense journey. That's why not all twin flames awaken at the same time, and not all twin flames are going to come into union at the same time. And it would be too intense for planet Earth if all twin flames like the same day would like get into union. Like, the energy of 2 twin flames coming together is like the highest frequency there is. It's unconditional love. It's the love from God. It's where we come from. It's the truth. Yeah. You know? And to bring that into the physical realm, it's a lot. Like it's gonna shake like everything around it. But when it's time for you, and when you're close to it, you know, and this is what this is who this container is for. It's for people who feel like this is the finish line. And it's easier to go through that together, because we can share our stories and don't feel like we are going crazy and losing our minds. And we all have gifts to give each other.
I don't remember having an alarm on, but confirmation.
Yeah, the universe was like, yes.
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 Yes. Oh, beautiful. Is there anything else you want to share on twin flames? Do you feel called to share anything?
Stay tuned, because we have this container now for until January. And I know it's the beginning of a long journey of many more courses and events. And ultimately, this is going to lead, to retreats and to whatnot, just powerful containers to bring people together that are on this journey, the spiritual journey, the ascension path, the awakening journey. And it's time for us to get communities and to get together. And everyone has gone through their dark night of the soul and done the hermit phase alone. And at some point, you realize, okay, you don't have to do it alone anymore. And so anyone on this journey, I'm here to share my codes. I'm here to share my medicine. I hope my story inspires people, to take bold actions. Like every time I've been asked to do something that makes zero sense to my ego, to my logical mind, like quit acting, move to the other side of the world, like take Reiki, you don't even know what it is, take ayahuasca, I've never done psychedelics, like so many things. Like the magic is on the other side. Like trust. Usually when it's a leap of faith, it's not going to make sense right away. It makes sense after you jump and you're like, oh, that's why. But yeah, do it. Take the risks, You feel it, like it feels scary, but underneath the fear, there's always a little bit of excitement of like, I wonder what's on the other side, And then it's just about taking the jump. And so it's been scary over and over again for me, but it's so worth it because it led me to exactly where I need to be. And I'm so grateful for that. And yeah, just remember you are supported, you are guided. Even when we feel alone, we are never alone. Never alone.
No, they're always here. You answered my last question without me even having to tell you.
What was it?
I was going to say, what would you like tell somebody like through their journey? And then you
Yes, that's the message.
Like, dive deep.
Yeah. You're never alone, and there's nothing to be ashamed of asking for help. Yes, you are your own healer. Yes, you have all the answers within, and this whole spiritual path is an inner journey. But we all have different gifts and different abilities, and sharing together. Ultimately, building a new earth is not done by one person.
No.
It's a teamwork. And this is why so many starseeds and light workers incarnated on Earth right now, because it's time for us to do it together. It's for the collective, by the collective. This is how we rise. So go out there and find, be authentic to who you are, and your soul family will find you. And they're going to be just as weird as you.
Yeah. So weird.
So weird.
I always think of like, oh my gosh. No one's going to understand, like, oh, I can't send this to that friend. No, I can't send oh, wait, that's right. I have like my support center. Hey guys. It makes you feel like so good. I want to ask like one more question, because you had like such a, I know this is in like the master class too, but you have such a beautiful explanation of like the 144,000 as well. So can you just like briefly explain that too before we finish?
Sure. 144 ultimately is a very sacred number, because 1 + 4 + 4 leads to 9, which is the completion cycle, right? And this is what we are trying to do. It's a completion of one cycle of the age of Pisces and going to the age of Aquarius, the golden age of miracles. And so 999 is the completion number. What the dark ones have tried to do is reverse it and make it 666. And the number 666 is never complete. So this number would keep us in the karmic loop of reincarnating over and over again and never ascend ultimately. And we are on the way. to switch this 6 to 9. And what happened this year on September 9th was that it was 996. That was the date. So we already reversed 2 numbers out of the 3. And so now we are just working on the last 6 to turn it into 9. And that's going to be when is it going to be? In 2025. Yeah, 2025. And so there's this explanation in Jen Marcari's book about twin flames and the 144,000 volunteers, that this is how souls are being created. They are being created in groups of 144, where there's 22 masculines and 22 feminines. And so each masculine has a twin flame that is the feminine. And so it is said that there are 144,000 twin flames on Earth right now coming into union. So 22,000 masculine, 22,000 feminine. And it's supposed to be the first groups of souls that were created when creation happened. So it's like the oldest souls of the universe that have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experiences, a lot of wisdom, have been here before and have tried to raise the frequency before at the times of Egypt and Atlantis and Lemuria and all that. And it failed, or, I wouldn't say it failed because it's also part of the plan. It was, we were planting
stepping
stones. Yeah. And we knew that we're going to come back again at this time, at the age of Aquarius, and we would have to be many, and we would have to be with our counterparts, with our twin flames, because this is the highest energy that will ultimately raise the consciousness of our earth and of the whole. So yeah, it's a sacred number. I don't know if we can know that there's exactly 144,000,
Yeah.
It's cool to think that it is. I believe it is because like the universe is made in such a perfect way, and everything has sacred numbers and everything is made like perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Human body and nature. And I mean, so yeah, it would make sense that this is the number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was getting emotional.
You're getting emotional?
Yeah. I have 16 water placements, so please. Emotional.
Yeah.
Wait,
what sign? Your sun sign?
Pisces.
Me too.
Yeah. Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Those are my big 3.
Okay. Wow. Very emotional. Okay.
I don't mean to cry.
Cards.
Yeah, wow. I'm like, I don't mean to cry randomly, but now where I'm at, it's like, oh yeah, like my heart's open now. So it's like everything that touches my heart just makes me want to cry.
And it's a beautiful thing, and all of us that are healers, we are emotional because we feel people. We can feel what someone else is feel. We have empathy, which is hard sometimes when you don't have healthy boundaries, right? And think that having emotions is actually a weakness, and it's not. It's your biggest gift. So if you cry. Cry.
Feel everything. Because I feel like emotions come up for you to feel it. They want to be seen. They want to be heard, just like we want to be seen and we want to be heard because there's something there.
Yes. And also, you are not your emotions. Like you feel something right now. Doesn't mean that it's you. You're the ocean, and there are waves and there are like things happening in the ocean. Ultimately, you're the ocean just having experiences.
Yeah. essentially. Oh, this was so great. Ophir.
It was fun. Thank you so
I
much.
love this so much. Oh, yes. I can't wait to do this again. I feel like in like 6 months, randomly, that's coming up, 6 months, we're going to do another one. And we're going to be like,
we'll have a lot to share in 6 months. Oof.
we'll have a lot to share in 6 months.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a very beautiful journey, like I'm seeing. So it's going to be great. And let everybody know where they can find you, like your Instagram, your website, all of that stuff.
Website is a work in progress right now, but I have my Instagram, which is Ophir, Ophir, with the beginning of my last name, Light, Leit, Shine, Ophir Light Shine. That's my Instagram. And I have a link there with everything, with where you can book sessions with me, where you can find a Twin Flame Masterclass. I share my favorite books that helped me on my journey, favorite songs that helped me on my journey. And this is where I share about my offerings and classes and events and containers and everything. So yeah, let's connect.
Yes. I'll link everything below like I do like usually too. I'll be like, so if you're watching or listening to this, everything for Ophir will be in the about section for the episode. And yeah, so hopefully we can do like a channeled light language activation together too. It just like came to me. So I guess we're supposed to do one together for a Friday episode when I put out the activations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's a date.
Right after. Yeah, it's a date. So yeah, okay. Well, you guys, this has been fun as always. I will connect with you guys on the activation soon. And I'll see you next week for the next episode. Sending you guys love and rainbows. Bye.